Hello and welcome to FE Explains. I'm Roshan Puvaya and today I'm going to be talking to you about what does India becoming the fourth largest economy really mean for you? You see, it's all about perspective. That's the beauty of data and statistics. You can make it work in different ways to portray what you want. So recently, Niti Aayog CEO BVR Subrahmanyam declared India will be the fourth largest economy in the world this year, overtaking Japan and closing in on Germany based on data from the International Monetary Fund.
We are the fourth largest economy as I speak. We are a $4 trillion economy as I speak, and this is not my data, this is IMF data. India today is larger than Japan.
The top two, of course, are the United States and China, and there's a huge gap to catch them. Now, let me explain why this milestone isn't one to be really celebrated. Sure, it does have a feel-good factor when you sprinkle it in intellectual conversations. We are the fourth largest economy, we'll soon be the third largest, India's on the move. Let's look at what figures this is based on and how it is calculated, and why India becoming the fourth largest economy really won't change your life. These milestones are mainly for earning political brownie points. Now, looking at the same IMF data, and you can too if you visit the IMF's Data Mapper website, it's easy to see that by some counts, India is actually the third largest economy, and it has been this way since 2009. It depends on what metric you are looking at. There are a few terms that you need to understand, and which one is being quoted to give you the real economic picture. The first is nominal GDP or gross domestic product. This is defined as the total value of goods and services produced in a country measured at current prices. The second one is real GDP figures. This is the total value of all goods and services for a specific period using constant prices. It allows for a more accurate comparison because it removes the effect of price changes. Let me give you an example. Let's say a country makes only pens and it manufactures 100 pens like this, priced at 20 rupees each in 1 year. Its nominal GDP would be 2000 rupees. Now, in the second year, the same country makes 105 pens, priced at 22 rupees each. In nominal GDP terms, it means that its GDP is 2,310 rupees or a growth of 15.5%. However, in real GDP terms, it would be 2,100 rupees or 5% growth, as real GDP shows the actual value of the goods without adding the effect of price increases. Now, economists prefer real GDP numbers because it provides a more reliable measure of economic output and growth, accounting for inflation. A rise in real GDP numbers means that the economy is really producing more goods and services, and it's not just that prices have increased. So now that you've understood nominal GDP and real GDP, let's bring in another crucial measure of the economy, and that is PPP, or purchasing power parity. What does that mean? In simple terms, it means how much your currency can buy in different countries. Like for $1, how much stuff can I get in the US and how much stuff can I get in India? It also shows you how much your currency is undervalued. A good measure of PPP is McDonald's Burger Index, as it is so called, and that is published by The Economist. It was an informal index that compared the price of a Big Mac burger across 40,000 locations worldwide that McDonald's operates in. So let's take the price of McDonald's Big Mac burger in India. Let's say it costs 200 rupees and it costs $5 in the US. By PPP calculation, the rupee should be 40 to the dollar. However, at the current exchange rate, it is at 85 rupees to the dollar, which means that the rupee is undervalued by 53% to the dollar. See, that's why it's important to account for PPP. For the same amount of money, you would get much less in the US compared to what you can buy in India. So PPP adjusted GDP attempts to account for differences in the cost of living and prices between countries when comparing their economic output. India's nominal GDP might appear lower than the United States, but its PPP adjusted GDP might be significantly higher because the cost of living is lower in India. Meaning the Indian rupee has more purchasing power relative to the US dollar. And so now you know why your US friends stock up on medicines and other stuff when they come visiting India. In fact, medical tourism works because of this PPP. So coming back to where does India stand on the rankings? The current stand is number 4 if you take only the nominal GDP numbers. There's a critical factor here because the GDP numbers are expressed in US dollars. India's nominal GDP for the year 25-26 is expected at 4.187 trillion, slightly ahead of Japan's $4.186 trillion. This of course depends on the exchange rate. If India's rupee weakens against the dollar and Japan's yen gains, the positions may reverse, even though there would be no change in production. Hence, the need to look at real GDP and of course PPP. Now let's bring in another economic term, and that is GDP per capita, which is the measure of a country's economic output per person. This is calculated by dividing the country's total GDP by its population. And that's where India takes a hit. We have the world's largest population of 1.44 billion people. Now divide 4.187 trillion by 1.44 billion and you get a per capita GDP of $2,880 per person. In rupee terms, that is about 2.4 lakh rupees. That of course is just an average figure. Compare that with Japan's per capita GDP, which is pegged at $33,960 per person, and you can see that Japan is far more productive, in fact 10 times more productive than India. So while it may be a feel-good factor to say India is the 4th, or by PPP numbers, the 3rd largest economy in the world, the reality is that India, with its huge population and low income rates, still has a lot of catching up to do. Sure, we do have a lot of goods and services privileges here, thanks to our PPP again, that we should be thankful for. Low cost of healthcare, the ability to hire domestic staff, and hey, even an efficient quick commerce ecosystem too. Got you thinking, didn't I? Like every other country, India does have some great benefits. Follow financialexpress.com for more such news that you could use.